Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel's Judgment Day seems like it's arrived in movie form. It was recently reported that they're developing a new Avengers X-Men movie set during Marvel Phase 7 based on the Judgment event in the comics. It's got a lot of people thinking it's how they plan to eventually unsnap the Eternals back from the giant Indiana Jones warehouse of canceled movies where they banish underperforming characters to. So we'll explain what the Marvel Judgment event is, how they'll have to change it to fit with what they're already changing in the MCU with the big reboot happening after Avengers Secret Wars, and how it is a huge opportunity to bring the Eternals and the Celestials back in a bigger way. Basically, a giant Avengers, X-Men, and everybody else Fantastic Four, all their characters, Celestial movie. How does Marvel bring them back from the ashes? Well, they use the Celestials as one of the next really powerful villain groups that all the different MCU heroes have to unite to stop. Way back before the pandemic happened, before they canceled the Eternals sequels, this is kind of what they were planning on doing eventually.
And I will return for judgment.
So it's almost like they've turned their old plans into their new plans, like they basically just reworked all their previous movie plans they had. One of the other things you probably spotted recently is that Kumail Nanjiani, who played Kingo in the Eternals movie, actually talked about a 10-year plan that Marvel made him sign a contract for 6 different movies and a host of other big tie-ins and TV show stuff that would have actually paid off a lot of this, and it sounds like Marvel is actually trying to find a way to do it again in the post-reboot X-Men era of the MCU. So we'll explain what's going on and what those 6 mystery movies that Marvel canceled were probably supposed to be. Now that Marvel seems like they're looking for ways to bring the Eternals back in the next several years, people are like, what about the Inhumans? Are they going to try and do the same thing and bring the Inhumans back in several years? Really hoping it doesn't turn into another Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness situation where they bring back obscure groups just to kill them off summarily within a couple minutes. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a lot of big changes happening at Marvel, so this is just the early days of that. Kevin Feige revealed a long time ago Marvel typically starts developing movie plans at least 5 years in advance. That includes their big Avengers movies too. But because of the larger changes they're having to make right now, fix the many issues hurting the brand, low ticket sales, budgets for movies getting too high, getting younger audiences interested in the brand again, onboarding new fans in general, stopping the hemorrhaging of older fans.
The truth is marching on.
There are a lot of different problems that they're trying to solve right now all at the same time. Kevin Feige recently revealed in a Marvel Phase 7 panel he held during Comic-Con a couple weeks ago at the Disney Marvel offices, saying that they'd actually started planning their movies and TV shows through 2032, like we're talking multiple phases, Phase 7, Phase 8, and part of Phase 9. Theoretically, it gives their movie ideas more time to cook, more time to work on scripts, which has been one of their biggest weaknesses in the past, more time to polish things, theoretically leading to better movies. He was very open about the fact that mutants are one of the main focuses of the next era of Marvel in general, post-reboot. That's why most of us are referring to it as the Mutant Saga. But he said the first real example of post-reboot Marvel movies will be the new X-Men solo movie that they're working on for 2028. But they're still going to be doing cosmic stories, supernatural stories, and they're still doing Avengers stories. It's just that the Avengers characters, previously they used to bookend their phases, Marvel Phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like now we're heading to Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. In the future, they'll still do those big Avengers movies, but it'll be more of a line-wide crossover with all their characters together. So like much bigger crossovers than we've seen before. And it seems like one of the next big phase-ending movies that they're working on is a Judgment Day movie. This actually lends a little more credence to some of the movie titles that leaked out that Marvel had trademarked back in 2022. If you didn't see it at the time, there were several movie titles that Marvel filed trademarks for, meaning that they were working on movies and TV shows for them. Not that they would actually be releasing them, just that they were filing trademarks for them so that nobody else could use those movie titles. The ones we found out about were Avengers Eternity Wars, Celestials, End of Time, Midnight Suns, Nomad, which is one of Captain America's alternate identities, Steve Rogers' Captain America, Shang-Chi in the Wreckage of Time, Captain America, Red, White, and Black in the Black Knight Origins. Some of those ideas we actually found out about in the past couple of years. For instance, they were actually working on a movie for Chris Evans and Haley Atwell set after Avengers Endgame that sounded like it would have been this Nomad title that they were working on, but they canceled that because they couldn't come up with a compelling enough story. Back when they released the Eternals movie, they'd already been developing a whole bunch of sequels, thus the Eternity Wars and Celestial's End of Time. There's been a lot of talk about them doing a Midnight Suns project. There was obviously setting up a Black Knight spin-off at the end of the Eternals movie. Black Knight Origins makes sense. They've already revealed that they were working on Shang-Chi 2. That's where all the Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of time travel movie stuff came in. People were talking about that a couple years ago. Daniel Destin Cretton had actually signed on to do that movie, but then they delayed that till after Secret Wars because they then turned around and hired him to direct the brand new Spider-Man Brand New Day movie. Captain America Red, White, and Black actually sounds like an Isaiah Bradley Captain America movie that they were planning on doing at some point. But if you think about it, Avengers Eternity War and Celestial's End of Time sound an awful lot like this new MCU Judgment Day movie based on that event in the comics, with a number of changes to make it fit with the live-action MCU stuff they've already done. In the comics, Judgment Day was a massive line-wide crossover with all their different characters, but it was primarily an X-Men versus the Eternals event, the Avengers getting caught in the middle of that. There are a number of things that were very different during that, though. It covers the Krakoa era of the X-Men comics, and they haven't done Krakoa in the MCU, and we don't know if they ever plan on doing that in the live-action movies. They recently canceled that run of X-Men comics and did their own type of reboot in the comics, so it kind of seems like they're not going to be doing live-action Krakoa. During the original story, Druig and the Eternals revived the dead progenitor Celestial on Earth, which the Avengers have turned into their new base, and receive orders from the Celestials to terminate the X-Men, who the Celestials view as perversions to their plan for the development of the Earth. Once the progenitor Celestial comes back to life, it determines that everyone is not worthy of Earth, like basically everyone's misused the Earth, and it's going to judge them in the next 24 hours, wipe the planet, if they can't prove that they're worthy to continue existing. Doesn't that sound like all the things that they were setting up at the end of the first Eternals movie in the MCU? There was a dead Celestial, it was Tiamat, but it was still a dead Celestial. Arishem the Judge told the other Celestials at the end of the movie that it would weigh their arguments back at the World Forge, and if they couldn't convince them that the Earth was worthy to continue existing, then the Celestial host would return to judge the planet, basically wipe the Earth. We actually saw a version of what that looked like during the Guardians of the Galaxy. Eson the Searcher wiped an entire planet using the Power Stone, judged an entire planet. They don't actually need the Infinity Stones to do that. Celestials don't have to use Infinity Stones. They're just examples of beings that are powerful enough to wield the Infinity Stones without it causing physical damage to them, the way that Thanos and Hulk's arms got super messed up after snapping the Infinity Gauntlet.
Did it work?
So it actually kind of seems like Marvel is looking for a way to bring all their different characters together post-reboot, like Fantastic Four, Eternals, Avengers, X-Men, everybody, every different type of character in big crossovers, and Judgment Day is just one of those. Recently, you also may have spotted Kumail Nanjiani, who played Kingo in the Eternals movie, also recently revealed a 10-year detailed plan and contract Marvel made him sign that they turned around and essentially canceled after they decided to box up the Eternals and put them in that Indiana Jones warehouse. 10 years worth of movies, tie-ins, 6 movies on his contract he signed, theme park rides, attractions at Disney World, and a host of other brand tie-ins like toys, other licensing deals outside of the movies and TV shows. There are a couple examples of the aftermath of this where there were a bunch of other crossovers and tie-ins that they tried to do Easter eggs for Kingo. For example, they showed up during Loki Season 2, She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. All that stuff had been written and in some stage of production before they canceled all their future Eternals movie plans. Now remember, there were 6 movies on his contract. What were those movies going to be? One of them includes the original Eternals movie too. What they probably made them all sign on for was an Eternals trilogy, like Marvel always plans new characters to get trilogies when they're introducing new IP, assuming success. At least 2 big Avengers movies and probably one other big crossover movie that was not an Avengers movie. Keep in mind, all of his TV show crossovers is a separate part of the contract. That doesn't include the 6 pictures in the contract. So the whole idea is that Marvel isn't suddenly doing a whole bunch of Eternal sequels now again. It just means that they're looking for ways to include all their different characters in much, much bigger line-wide crossovers because they have access to pretty much all their characters, even though they still can't do Hulk solo movies. Still working on that. Still a couple minor problems in the background with the rights. But everyone post all your reactions in the comments below. There have been a lot of people that have been wondering what the next big Avengers movie is going to be after Secret Wars. Like, will it be Avengers versus X-Men? Because that seems like the logical conclusion of an X-Men era of the MCU. There are a couple major crossover events that Marvel has done in the comics that feature all of their different characters: X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Eternals, Inhumans, everybody. There's so much Avengers Doomsday and Secret War stuff happening the next couple of years, we'll probably start to hear more about their plans for other movies beyond the reboot, future X-Men movie plans in the next couple of years. As those start to leak out, I will do videos about them. The other really big stuff that's happening right now are the Alien Earth episodes. I'm doing videos for that. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. And we have Peacemaker episodes. I'm also doing videos for that too. And we're going to get Marvel Zombies in the next couple of weeks too. I will do a video for that. They're only releasing them all at the same time though. It's not going to be a weekly series. Maybe there'll be a trailer for that in the next week or two. If there are any big questions or video requests that you have that I didn't address in this video, just write them below in the comments and I'll add them in my future bonus videos. Click here for that new Avengers Doomsday leak and click here for the Spider-Man Brand New Day Venom video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.